Hi guys, it's your latest news today. Lagos Nigeria refinery Dangote has announced another reduction in the ex-depot price of premium motor spirit (PMS), which is also known as Petro, as international crude oil prices continue to fall following an easing of tension linked to the Iran conflict. The refinery reduced its gantry price from 1,175 naira per litre to 1,125 naira per litre, a decrease of 50 naira per litre. The new price affects marketers and fuel distributors buying petrol directly from the refinery's loading terminal before transporting it to filling stations across Nigeria. The latest adjustment comes barely days after the refinery had earlier cut its petrol price by 75 naira per litre from 1,250 naira per litre to 1,175 naira per litre. That earlier reduction was linked to a decline in the price of Brent crude, which fell after reports of de-escalation in the Middle East and renewed optimism about the movement of oil cargoes through the Strait of Hormuz. Crude oil is the major raw material used in refinery petrol, diesel, aviation fuel, and other petroleum products, which are also known as petrochemicals. When international crude oil prices rises sharply, refineries face higher production costs. But when crude prices falls, refineries may have room to reduce the price of fuel sold to marketers. So we can also say the market of petrochemicals is volatile, which is it depends highly on crude oil prices. During the period of heightened conflict involving Iran and other countries in the Middle East, global oil price rose because traders feared disruption to crude supply routes, especially the Strait of Hormuz. The waterway is one of the world's most important oil transport routes. As the conflict between Iran and other countries calmed down these recent days, supply disruption reduced, Brent crude dropped significantly. Reports said the benchmark fell below $80 per barrel, compared with higher levels recorded during the crisis period. Dangote refinery said the downward review of its petrol price was influenced by changes in global energy costs. The company also reduced its coastal supply price, which affects fuel supplied through coastal and marine distribution channels. The refinery ex-depot price is not the same as the final price paid by motorists at filling stations. The ex-depot price is the amount fuel marketers pay before adding transport costs, depot charges, financial costs, station operating expenses, and profit margins. The margins after this, the expenses they make with the bad road in Nigeria. That's what increase petrol prices. Because of this, petrol prices at filling station may not immediately fall by the full 15 naira reduction announced by the refinery. However, the price cut could create pressure for marketers to review pump prices downward, especially in areas close to Lagos and major fuel distribution corridors. Consumer in cities such as Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Odo, Kwara, and parts of the southwest may be among the first to see the impact, depending on how quickly marketers receive the new supply at the reduced rate. In other parts of the country, especially the northeast, northwest, and some riverine communities, transport costs may continue to keep petrol price higher than in Lagos. The final pump price will depend on the distance from the depots, road conditions, availability of tankers, and the pricing decision of individual filling stations. The price reduction highlights the growing influence of Dangote Petroleum Refinery in Nigeria petrol market. The facility has become a major supplier of refined petroleum products and has reduced Nigeria's dependency on imported fuel. Before local refinery expanded, Nigeria relied heavily on imported petrol. This meant local pump prices were strongly affected by international fuel price, exchange rate movements, shipping costs, insurance charges, and port-related expenses. With more petrol produced locally, the country could be better protected from some of the costs associated with importing refined fuel. However, global crude prices and the value of the naira still remain important because crude oil, equipment, spare parts, shipping service, and other refinery inputs are influenced by international markets. Fuel marketers are expected to study the new pricing template and decide whether to reduce prices at their retail outlets. Some may wait until they receive new stock bought at the lower gantry price before making changes. This reduction in fuel prices would provide some relief to households, transport operators, traders, and small businesses. Petrol remains central to Nigeria's economy because it powers many vehicles, generators, and commercial activities. A reduction in fuel prices could also help lower transport fares, although this may not happen immediately. Transport unions and drivers often adjust fares slowly, especially when other costs such as vehicle maintenance, spare parts, and food prices remain high. The development may offer limited but important relief in the fight against inflation. Increased fuel price usually will increase cost of moving food from farms to market, transporting goods between states, and operating small business. If petrol price falls steadily, food sellers, transporters, and manufacturers may face lower operating costs, which can stabilize the economy. However, economists warn that fuel price reduction alone may not immediately bring down the general cost of living because the exchange rate, electricity cost, insecurity, poor roads, and high interest rates also affect prices. The quick question for many Nigerians is whether filling stations will pass the refinery price cuts to consumers. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to always stay updated by subscribing.